He was 34. His daughter was 7 months, and his son was almost 4. They were still learning their father's face. And then on an ordinary day, he had a heart attack. This was Kimberly's first love. Brian was Kimberly's husband, the devoted father of 2 beautiful children who were now sleeping down the hall. That was 11 years ago. And what we're going to talk about today is what she did with those 11 years. That's the reason why we're here, not because of what she lost, although she lost more than most of us can ever imagine. This is a story about what she built. So Salsa, she is the CEO and owner of a business. She built a home. She has 2 remarkable kids, and she keeps their father's memory alive so that they know who he was and know how he would have really appreciated and been proud of who they are. Every time she tells a story during the holidays, during their birthdays, show pictures, make videos, she keeps his legacy alive. Today, we ask a question that she has quietly been answering every single day of those 11 years. What happens when you only have one good parent left? Come with me to find out Kimberly's story. Welcome to Emerging with Grace. I'm loving having you here, and I'm glad that you chose this podcast to listen to. Please like, subscribe, and share so that more people can get to know how to emerge with grace. Thank you. Hello, Miss Myrick. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Dr. Garrett. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Your topic is near and dear to my heart, so we can just jump right on in. Tell me how things started in the beginning.
So, to try to cover certain things, I had a very good childhood. So just start there, right? My mother raised me by herself, but she was such a great mother that I didn't feel I was lacking anything.
Need is one good parent.
At least my mom always said that. At least one good parent, you should be okay, you know. And
Mhm.
she I had a happy childhood. I mean, I felt heard, she protected me. She did not embarrass me in any way, shape, or form in front of anybody. She always felt like she put me first in the healthy way.
Mhm.
So it started there. I just felt like I feel like I was always a pretty happy person.
Okay.
And then, I went through life and I don't know, a lot of young people, they have this idea they want to get married and have children. And I didn't have that. I really didn't. I never thought I would,
Not the fairy tale
no,
Disney.
I really didn't. I was just
Good.
going through life, went to college and everything. And, I met my husband, this I guess I bring this up because these are the happiest parts of my life, right? That
Mhm.
kind of led me to where I am today. So
What was your husband's name?
Brian.
Brian.
Brian Myrick, yes, yes.
Right.
He was amazing, yes, and
Tell me
he
a little
was
bit about Brian.
a little bit about him.
Mhm.
Brian is one of a kind. He was one of a kind. He the funniest person I've ever met. He was one of the I always used to say he could make like a Ku Klux Klan member just like him. Like he was that
Mm.
personable,
Mhm.
funny, real smart, did not care what people thought, really just knew what he wanted, went for what he wanted. And I will say, I always tease because I even told my kids, he was the first person I ever fell in love with and the first person to break my heart. Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was my first tragedy too. Like we broke up for like 8 years, and it was just from being young and he needed to find himself and, it was heartbreaking, but, back then we didn't have social media and all that stuff. So you didn't have to dwell, you could just kind
Mhm.
of move on. But I will say, he always said he liked me and I was young. I was kind of scared of guys a little bit, because there's a lot of people getting broken and everything. But he always just spoke to me in a way that made me feel so comfortable. And, he really just understood who I was, and that's why I fell in love with him. It was so natural. I've never felt that natural with anybody. My mom, you know, that type of love, like, and then Brian, like, that was another type of love I experienced, never had with another man, right?
Mhm.
So that's where it kind of started. That just like being happy and like I want to chase that happiness. Like this is life. This is what life could be. So we got back together 8 years later, and I always tell my kids the whole story, what happened, and he knew what he wanted. I knew what I wanted. I always thought he was going to be my husband, but I wasn't sure because we broke up. But anyway, fast forward, got married, had two beautiful children.
Mm.
And that was that was really the most proud I've been in my life, is having my family.
Mhm.
Mind you, I got the education, I got my bachelor's degree, I got a master's degree, and that's all great. That was happy for like my parents, my mom and my grandparents.
Yeah.
But where I felt the most like fulfilled was actually having a family that I loved. I was like, oh, my kids will be raised in a household where their two parents are all over each other, just love each
Mhm.
other and love them. I was so excited for that. I was very excited for that. So that was the beginning of where my adulthood, I guess, really started, and
Mhm.
where I was like, oh, life is great. And then unfortunately he passed away at the age of 34 from a heart attack.
Mm.
Um, and very unexpected. And, Brian was a type, again, like a lot of men who have health concerns. He wasn't one to just go to the doctor, and he had high blood pressure, but we kind of monitored that and got him, in line with that. And I'm always like, go to the doctor. You got insurance, go to the doctor. And, you know, that one particular week he had chest pains, but thought it was gas, just stuff you just don't know. You don't know. And he said he went to the doctor, but he didn't, and he wound up having a heart attack. In the middle of the night, I was with him and I had to do CPR. Um,
That's
the
scary.
Very scary. I mean, it was my babies were 2 and I think like 7 months at the time. And
Okay.
the one blessing around that is this was like the first night they stayed in their room the entire night. Like they did not wake up, which I was scared of happening while I was doing CPR. I really was scared and I didn't know what to do. So that's when the biggest change in my life happened, you know. So that's kind of my beginning to where, I had to start thinking as a single parent, and what am I going to do? And, and of course it didn't come right away. That just kind of fell, as I had to get back into the swing of life, and now being a single parent of two babies and my
Oh, but
grief.
hold on. I was about to say,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
skipped over a
yeah,
whole
yeah, yeah.
entire part because
Yeah.
that grief comes
Oh
in.
yeah. Oh yeah. I could talk about it. I could, the grief part, Dr. Garrett, it's like it's weird talking about it now because when it was going on, when it was happening,
Mhm.
you just go through the motions because you just have to survive. It was like
You have to
surviving, right?
continue. Mhm.
Gotta continue. It's like I had 3 weeks off from work, had to go back after 3 weeks. I probably needed to go back. I don't know what I needed. It was a blur. A lot of it
Mhm.
was a blur. My son was the most in tune with his father, right? He knew he was. He expected him to come home every day. He had that routine. He knew that routine, right? And so it was really hard seeing him being excited for a car to pull up, and he was never there. He kept running to the door thinking his daddy was coming, and just to see that he never came. And when he started slowly realizing that, he stopped running to the door. It broke me. Like all things just broke me when it came to my kids.
Mm.
I had a slump, I just didn't do anything, sitting in front of the TV, drinking some wine, like just got into this, mode. I didn't really grieve. It was more like after I got the kids in the bed, I try to get them in by 7 o'clock, try to keep their routine. And then I'm just sitting there crying.
Mhm.
And then, okay, go to bed, start back over the next day and the
So
next
you
day.
hit it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And my mom was the biggest support, of all. I don't know what I would do without her, because to her, I know feel like she lost a son, you know.
Mhm.
She was very close with him. And so that grieving part was just very hard. I forget a lot of it. I was really in a fog probably
Mhm.
for a year, um, just maintaining and just pushing through, And so that was a lot. It was a lot, You don't know how to ask for help. You don't know what you need. I just want my husband back. That's kind of how I
Mhm.
felt. Like I don't
Mhm.
want anything. I just want him to come back.
And all
Um,
the dreams that you had
mhm.
for your future.
Oh, man, and we had plans because when we got married, we did not have a lot of money. We didn't get to really do a honeymoon. His parents provided us, like, with a timeshare. We spent, like, a weekend in Myrtle Beach, but it was fun, it was, like, the most fun we had, but we wanted to, like, be able to go on a trip or, just do things we never really got to do because we had so much fun together. So dealing with all that, and again, him being like the main person who just I felt understood me. I felt he was home to me, very comfortable, and not having that anymore was
Oh.
devastating. Yeah, it was devastating. So yeah, just pushing through and my kids were my angels, I say, because they gave me that, it wasn't even a thing.
Reason
It
to
wasn't even
be.
yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't even a second guess to wake up and do some, get them together. Like
Mhm.
it was hard, but it wasn't hard when I saw them,
Yeah.
it was just like, oh yeah, I don't have no choice here. Like this, they need me, you know? So my new goal was to find happiness. This came, of course, later on. This didn't just pop up. This is like after, was in a hard job, wasn't making ends meet really well. My goal was to get a job that was secure, had benefits, had time I could take off. They were getting sick and I had nowhere to go. It was just a mess. It was a
Mm.
full mess. Um, and trying to figure out what I was going to do. So that was my new motivation. Hence where I am now. That motivation is the constant, which makes me want to do more, and find things that make us happy and that they can see they can do also. You can go through
Mhm.
adversity, you can go through things, and if you're loved, you can do anything. You're gonna go through hard times and we're gonna lose people, but we can find that magic. We can find God in ourselves and, we can make it. And again, it took me a while to get to that. It took me a while to get to that belief.
Mhm.
It was still, man, I don't ask for much. I finally found some happiness and now this is gone. Created a little thing in me where do I really need, will things always be this way? Can I look forward to something or is it gonna be snatched? I had a lot
Mm.
of those things. I blamed myself. Did I not, I should have took him to the doctor, even though he said no. I should have this, I went through all of that, you know. So yeah, that was the
Shoulda, woulda,
beginning.
couldas.
Hmm.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. So, but I decided to make a decision. I made the decision to try to be as healthy as possible.
Mhm.
I remember when I decided to get into therapy and I was lucky the first time around. I found like the perfect therapist the first time around.
I
And
love that. I
she
love
was
that.
awesome. Yes, because sometimes doctors, it takes a minute. Sometimes you might not vibe with the person. People think
Mhm.
like the first person you speak to is gonna be the
The
person,
one.
but the
Mhm.
one, mine was perfect. I wound up seeing her off and on for probably over 10 years.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
There was a point where I know I was doing pretty well. But I have my seasons of, maybe around Christmas time where things get hard
Mm.
around the birthday times or anniversaries or, that things get a little hard and I would go back. But once she was kind of like, "Oh, you can't walk, you're good, but I'm always here." And she just
She kinda had to shoo you out the nest.
a little bit, yeah, yeah, because it became my comfort zone, right? It was like
Right.
my, that's just it was that comfort piece to me, but that's what helped me really kind of get through that transition in life when I was hitting hard things. And
So let me ask you a question.
yes, ma'am.
Would you say during therapy is when you showed yourself grace for all that guilt?
Yes, because I went in there with all that guilt, with all that, you know, if I would have done this, or am I doing this right? Because he's not here to make those decisions, and he would have made this decision. And I had to work through that, I really did. And she helped me just kind of talk through it for one, and then like kind of put that real perspective as to, would we ever really know, when that happens?
Right.
Can we
Right.
really ever really prevent something like that from happening? And she didn't have to even come from it from like a spiritual, godly aspect, or it literally was just, let's think about this, how could you have prevented this from happening,
Right.
really, And I'm one of those people, Dr. Jesus, like, it has to just make sense, like, and it's like, and it didn't make sense, and me consistently saying, if I would have done this, this would have happened. It didn't make sense because neither one of us knew. I mean, he probably would have done
Right.
something different too if he knew, right?
Right.
So, I can't blame him either. I do get mad. I always told
I
him
was
before. I said,
about
no,
to say but there's stages to grief.
there's
So,
stages. There's stages. Me thinking back, because we had all these types of conversations.
mhm.
If you don't leave me, we've got these two beautiful kids now. I was like, you better do what you can to stay here, because we got a life to live. We talk about all that. Like, if I leave, you leave, you're allowed to date again, you're allowed to find somebody. We talk about all that, and then he left. I was like, he left. But in therapy, it helped me, kind of bring that back to, you know, you were provided with something, and you have no full control over the way anything goes. And after time, start looking at this brighter picture of what can come from that. What did you learn from that? What did he teach you? What do you want to pass on to your children? What do you want them to remember about their father? What, just all that. And then forgiving him in my prayers. He pop up in my dreams, forgiving him in my prayers, you know. And therapy also gave me the pathway to, like, you could talk with your good friends. You talk with my mom about how I'm feeling, because those things go up and down for years. It doesn't just go away.
Right.
Um, you can even move on to another relationship, but they might not have space for. They don't know, you know.
There's always a space.
Yes.
I read a quote somewhere. I'm gonna have to find out who the author was, but they said when somebody dies, it's not that they leave you
Hmm.
because the space in your heart is still there.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. And it's that, because when we lose people, or when I lost my husband, I still have my children. And so
right.
it's this tie. It's always going to be a tie, right? So
Legacy.
yeah, it's
Mm,
legacy. So you have to, like, now have people around you that really understand that, and don't look at it as like a negative.
right.
It's not about, you don't never let go.
Right.
But you do move on. You do, have other friendships, relationships, create partnerships and things, but that's always a part of you. I have.
Did anybody tell you to hurry up and get over your grief?
Nobody told me to hurry up, but you can kind of tell
Mm.
people feel like you should be at a certain
At a certain
point.
point. Mhm.
Yeah, they don't say it directly, but it's like they assume you're just always good because you look good, because you're
Mhm.
you're moving through life. And so, I mean, I still cry, I still have
Mhm.
moments, or I'll see something and it triggers me. And it's been 11 years, almost 12 years,
Wow.
and so nobody said that directly. Probably if they did, I probably would have some words at this point in my life, but no. But yeah, nobody's directly said it, but people want you to move on. But I've really met a lot of people that have been my friends and stuff, that are just they give me that space to be, to talk about it when I need
Mhm.
to. But, if anything, I just wanted to create something for my kids to always be able to talk about, not overwhelm them and shove it down their throats. But when they're ready, I have a little video whenever you want to see it. As you can see it. Here's a few things. I saved a few things of his, that, some of his writings, and he was a math person. Some of his equations, he used to write these equations to win the lotto, and like, he was just a lot of fun. So I saved things, and if they ever want to retrieve them, they can have them. So this is all part of who I am now, and my wanting them to know who their father is. And they have videos. And unfortunately, my daughter was young, so she didn't have as much time with him or have
Mhm.
as many pictures with him, it stops at a certain point. But but we did make some videos for her, like specifically on her first birthday. It was a video of him holding her when she was born and talking to the world about, this is my London, and she make bridges fall down, and she has some videos of him and how much he adored her, which
Mhm.
really, and thanks for talking with me too. This brings back a lot, you kind of stuff it sometimes and you remember things happening, but actually talking about it is kind of cool. It brings a lot of stuff back up that I forgot I did, that I fought through, and that, why I'm here today. Some specifics, I
Mhm.
forgot, you know, it's been a long journey. That's what I do realize. It's
Mhm.
been a journey. It's been a journey.
It may get easier, but his memory doesn't go away.
Exactly.
And the
Exactly.
happiness
Hmm.
that he gave you doesn't go
Oh, yeah.
away.
Does not go away.
Mhm.
It does not. I'm thankful that I got to experience him, and he pursued, like he was one of those, he knew what he wanted. He taught me that too. He was like, listen, man, know what he want. He gonna go for it. Don't
Right.
accept nothing less. He taught me that. Like, he showed me that.
Mhm.
And that I'll carry to the end is that I tell my son that. I tell my daughter that, it's be choosy with the people you have in your life. Make sure they make you smile, make sure they consider you, make sure that they don't try to put things in your path that make it negative. That
Right.
negativity has nothing to do with you. It's all about everything I experienced with my late husband, Brian. It taught me a lot, and it's what I use to teach my kids about how they should move in life, and what love really looks like.
You're right.
Hmm.
It's not all rainbows and unicorns. It's mostly
Yeah.
life
Yeah.
happening.
Life. Be life.
But when you told me that
Hmm.
he was one of the funniest people you met, I said
Uh-huh.
that's why she fell in love with him.
Listen, that man made me chuckle from the gut. I always say that he made me, people can laugh he was funny. That man
Mm.
had us cracking up. His mom, me, his brothers, my mom, like he was just a life, that and a lights too. He was just a light. He's so forgiving, very laid back, country boy, very laid back. Didn't have to say much.
Mhm.
I think I've seen him maybe get mad 2 times. Like that's, just nothing's that serious, but don't mess with mine, that type of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I
He
do
was,
know what you mean.
yeah, just cool, just cool, and I just felt really lucky to be with him. I felt very lucky to be with him and around him. And I don't care for a lot of people. I'm very friendly, I'm very outgoing, but like people that really impress me, it's a few. It's a few. He was one of them that really, really, just really impressed me about who he
Mhm.
was. Yeah, he was a beautiful person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kept his memory alive for the kids
Hmm.
to let them know that they were loved
Yeah.
by the man who which one of them looks like him?
Oh, Brian, all the way. Lyndon got his eyes, but Brian is like his spitting image. Yes.
Mhm.
My son,
Mhm.
Brian. Yes.
So now every time you look at Brian,
Hmm.
you see him.
Oh, yeah. Hands
So you
down.
you have a few events coming up.
Hmm.
You have graduation.
Hmm.
You have going to college for the first time.
Hmm.
You're probably gonna have getting married and having kids. Grandkids, I'm sorry. I
Hmm.
need to
No more
clarify that.
kids. No more kids. No more kids.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But the kids getting married and having kids, have you thought about how you're gonna be able to handle that? Or are you gonna go back to the therapist? What does that look like?
I never try to think that far ahead because it scares me, right?
Gotcha.
It's like one of the things that like it's one of it probably developed after he passed and my grandfather also passed, but looking forward too much gives me anxiety. Really try to like just take it year by year,
Mm.
event by event. You know, my son
And that's
just,
beautiful, and
yeah,
Imma respect that for you
thank
because,
you.
getting what happened in your mind,
Mhm.
whether it's conscious or subconscious, was the fact that all your dreams just came crashing down and you really didn't have anything to look forward to except those babies.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's what it is. And so I just when the events happen, I get in my feelings and stuff, and I'm
Mhm.
proud, but I'm in my feelings, but I make it through, right?
Right.
And so I remember one time somebody asked me something like that, Ryan, he gonna be the first graduate from college, and then it's gonna be London, then they're gonna be out the house. I'm like, okay, 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 just
Slow down.
it ain't great. Okay, let's hold on. Just
Mhm.
thinking that far ahead. I take it day by day because I just want them to I try to be present. Like I just want them to get to this next step. I want to
Live in the
enjoy it,
moment.
live in
Mhm.
the moment. I want to enjoy it. I want to witness this growth as it's happening, and I just leave it there. So I have in my mind what I'd love it to look like for them, but I try not to focus on it and how I'm going to feel when those things happen. I will be just happy that they've gotten to that place
Mhm.
more than probably sad. You know what I mean?
Good.
Every time I'll
Good.
probably feel more blessed and I know that Brian is there looking down on him and I'm more happy. I
Mhm.
wish he was here physically to see those moments, but I don't look at him as like scary.
Right.
Yeah, but try to just focus on them.
So after the blur,
Hmm.
because what happened, your brain probably protected you from how much grief you would have had you stayed in the moment of the grief. So it's okay that you don't remember some of that stuff.
Yeah.
After the blur,
Hmm.
raising kids.
Hmm. Babies, toddlers, like
Mhm.
wild.
And you never expected to do that by yourself.
Nope.
Mhm.
Nope. I was looking forward to doing it with Brian. Like
Mhm.
that was the fun part because it was fun. Like we had our little adjustments, going from totally free to now diapers and bottles and you can't play the video game right now because I got to do this and I got to breastfeed. That we worked through all that. It was
Mhm.
fun though. We got to this real fun, cool place, right? And then now it's like it's just all on me. And you know how toddlers are. Go to the soup. You have this day plan, right? So it was like supermarket. I come home from work. I got to go to the supermarket between this time and this time because nap time comes. And right before nap time, they get really, really cranky. But I have no one to watch them right now. I really got to go. I got to get that milk, go to the store. I make it. I remember having a full breakdown in the store because my
Mhm.
son I knew if he saw this yellow car, he was going to flip. And I could not get that yellow car. I could not get that yellow car at the time. I had enough for what we had. So he saw it. He grabbed it and he was crying. I said, we got to put it back. And he was crying. And I had to like, pop his butt a little bit because I didn't know what to do. Had London in the front seat of the cart. And he was going crazy. And I busted out crying in the middle of the aisle. And this kind lady cashier came and helped me, and she says, okay, she saw that I was going through it, walked with me, gave him the car. She said, okay, we'll just give him this car till we get to the cash register. Let's bring your groceries out, and I got myself together. And she literally gave him the car. Like she was like, don't worry about this. I bought the car for him just so I could get out of the store. And she
Right.
saw I was breaking down. That's what it was with babies. It's like now I'm going between their schedules and their routine by myself now. Not like
Mhm.
I can go upstairs, give Brian a bath, and Brian's downstairs watching London, and then we flip. None of that.
No, 2 kids automatically on you
Automatic. On me. Yep.
while you're grieving.
While grieving.
Mhm.
Yep. That's what that numbness was. It was just like, just get up, do it again. 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 So that was after the blur, part of the blur still, and then after the blur, and
Mm.
things got real.
Yes, because
Yes.
life don't care that you going through something. It just keeps on lifing.
Keeps on life in. And again, the people around you go back to regular life, right?
Mhm.
Because this is now my grief, and understanding, why I want to be alone sometimes or why I don't want company sometimes or, just people understand, but they might not understand. And, I don't know what to say, because they try to be helpful, but people
They
say
try to put a
stupid
label
things.
on you. You must
Yeah.
be an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm,
Something, yeah, well, I don't, it was just a lot to figure out, it was a lot
right.
to figure out. And again, if it was not for my mom, I don't know. If it was not for my mom, I have no idea what that would have been like. To this day, I sit there and cry just thinking about that because, I know she was hurting too, and
Mhm.
she would try not to show too much.
So she did what you did. She took
Yeah.
care of her child while you took care of your children.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Now, I know this is off topic. I met you. You have a business that's booming. I've tried some of your product. It's
Mhm.
delicious.
You like
Um,
that sauce, Dr. G?
yes, yes. Let me tell you.
Thank you.
And I'm a person who don't taste spice. And when people say hot, I'm like, yeah, where? And I just eat. But your stuff was spicy. And I was like, ooh, okay, this got a little kick. I like that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you grew. You
Mhm.
grew. You grew into this woman who you kept your house a hold up. You took care of the kids. You started your own business.
Yeah.
Um, at any given time, did you think you would be here?
Mhm. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I thought that I hoped back then that I would get to this place of being at peace,
Mhm,
at least
mhm,
being like settled or
mhm.
having some type of just being able to you know?
Breathe,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, because
Mhm.
that I think I just literally in the past couple years felt that. So no, for one, I did not think I would be in this place, literally like having a business, helping making it grow, being at a job that's like kind of gives me some of that peace and that like, where I can do things, be more around my kids being in good schools, that I have a part in choosing, I did not I knew we were going to be somewhere close to happy. I didn't know it would look like this. How about that?
Okay.
I believe I trusted that God was going to put us in some type of a place of peace. I just didn't know what it would look like,
What it
you know.
sounds like is the strong Black woman trope.
Oh, always. Right? What does that really mean? Like, what is strong? What is strong because you have to do it? Is strong because you choose to do it? Is strong or is
Well,
it like
you if that's the way you were brought up, if
Yeah.
that's the way you were told,
Mhm.
and your mother was probably, life keeps going. You don't
Mhm.
have time to stop.
Yeah.
So if that's the way you were,
Mhm.
then yes, you keep going. You keep
Mhm.
moving. But
Yeah.
there are people who will just fall apart.
That's true.
So, don't
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 minimize
take
that.
that. You're
Yeah.
right. You have
Yeah.
that armor,
Yeah.
and that armor sort of protected you.
Mhm.
They say it's
It's true.
also a straitjacket.
Mhm.
So,
Straight jacket, right.
it
Yeah.
protects you. You
Yeah.
keep going, life keeps happening, and you keep rolling.
Keep rolling. Yeah.
But as a straitjacket, you don't get to grieve. You don't get to be who you need to be. When I actually feel jealous of some of the women who can take the time in their life and
Mhm.
just fall apart and allow themselves to just fall apart. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
I agree. I felt that way.
Mhm.
Yes. That get to, give up for that weekend
Right.
or just in
It's
life.
just a week.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, we know that
Mhm.
usually when that happens, it's not a week and the kids suffer.
Yep.
And there's a whole lot of stuff that goes along
Yeah.
with that. So that was not a negotiable for you.
Right, right.
So
It wasn't, and that's yeah, when you say it, because yeah, it is. I do feel it made me stronger.
Mhm.
But when you're going through it, you don't feel like it's that,
You don't want
right?
that kind of strength. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't want this. I want to be strong.
Right.
I mean, they could take it. I mean, I don't want to give you. Let me breathe. Let me just be.
Right.
But yeah, it definitely. And you're right. It's the way I was brought up. It's what I saw. It's like also knowing what's important, you know?
It's hidden messages. Your mother
Hidden
didn't say you
messages.
gotta be a strong Black woman. That's not
Right.
what is said.
Right.
It's suck it up,
Mhm.
we gotta
Yeah.
keep moving.
Right. You know,
And
there
even
may
that,
be
if if you watch and
yeah,
you see your elders, and that's what they do.
that's what they do.
Mhm.
That's right. That's why we're here. That's how we got here.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Very
So
true.
you have a story and a half, and it's not easy. I would love to say that life gives you lemon and you made lemonade out of it. I can tell you from my experience that 30 years later, some
Mhm.
things still pop up and make
Yeah.
you think, what if?
Mhm.
I don't do the shoulda, woulda, coulda anymore.
Yeah. Mhm.
And are you at that point where you have, okay, there's nothing I could have done?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm good with that now. Um, I do, like you said, still have that what if or if
Mhm,
things were a little different, I still go through that. And that's mostly when it comes to the kids, seeing
mhm.
them do things or seeing Brian having questions. And I do be like, well, what if, he was here? But I don't blame myself anymore, to that extent that I did
Right,
initially.
right.
Yeah.
So, have you remarried, found anybody else?
No,
No.
no, I'm open to it. I just, and again, I joke when I say that is that's something we talked about. If that ever happens, and it was a time where I was like, okay, let me try this thing out. And,
Nothing
so
compares.
this
N
compares. I mean,
Nothing compares.
and I'll say,
And you try not to compare, but
I don't compare. I don't compare. I really don't. I've been good at that part like I don't need another Brian because there was
right.
only one Brian, right? So I've
Not
never been in,
replacing.
yeah, I've never been in the delusion of like, oh, I'm trying to find my husband again. But he did set some type of a bar that was like, at least these qualities I really like, respect, kindness, adoration and just strength and just there's
I
these qualities.
I think what struck me
Mhm.
is when you said, I don't wanna get it wrong, but you
Mhm.
said he rarely got angry,
Mhm.
and there's nothing that serious,
Mhm.
but don't mess with me and mine,
Mhm.
and it's nothing like a man that will protect you.
Yeah. Where you really feel really, like good, like
Mhm.
walking down the
Safe.
street,
Mhm.
safe. Yeah, and not a diss to anybody. I've dated some real nice guys or whatever, but there's something else there. There might be some anger there. There might be, something that I just wouldn't feel completely like, yeah, we can do this,
Mm.
forever. No,
Mhm.
and I just look at it as, okay, that person wasn't for me. I wasn't for them. And it's fine.
Mhm.
I've always been good with that. But it's like, just if for one, I was married and then had kids. So I've never dated without kids in mind, right?
Mhm.
So now you're looking to this, okay, if I want to be happy again, I got to think about
Are
all of
they gonna
us,
be
right?
happy? Right.
Are they gonna be happy? Can I see this person? It's easy to find somebody just for you, right? It's easy
Mhm.
to, but not all people care about your kids, or not all people care about being in your life and seeing how they are or what matters, And it took me a minute, like kind of like really was observing that, And so no, I just haven't found that. Again, very open, but it just has to be a certain way, and I'm okay with that. I'm like, "Let me just focus on what I'm focusing on."
And running a business and
Yes,
doing the thing.
Yeah, yeah, like that's
So,
what mhm.
where do you sell your salsa when the summer is over?
Summer's over, so Soul Sauce is my business, and so I started selling at the market at 25th. It's a supermarket here, in Churchill, and so I started that this year, I believe it was March, and so now you can get the salsa in between the farmers markets, right? That was a
Good.
goal I had. It was, okay,
Right.
start out here,
So
and
it
then
goes all through the winter.
all through the winter, right? It goes
Mhm.
all through the winter. And, I work on, I have these stages that I'm working on. So I'm also kind of still working on the direct sales part because I have my regular customers who want to just get it from me. Like, hey,
Mhm.
Kim, can I get, but I'm trying to push them going to the market, to get used to buying it there. But yeah, they can get it at the Market at 25th, here in Churchill, Richmond, Virginia, and also the Petersburg Library. They
Ooh,
have a market, a beautiful little produce market inside the library.
okay.
And it's so beautiful. And so you can also get it there if you're in the Chesterfield, Hopewell, Petersburg area. And then stay tuned for more spots. But for right now, that's where you can get your salsa.
Thank you, Kim,
Hmm.
for being with us today, for sharing your story, and hopefully somebody else could benefit from that.
I hope so. I really hope so. Thank you for having me.
All right. I very seldom recommend products unless I like them, I use them, and I agree with them. So when I tell you that this lint-free, no tree, 100% bamboo, biodegradable tissue is strong, 3-ply, and beautiful, I'm trying to tell you Leafy is it. I will leave my coupon code in the bottom of the description. It's DocG25.
Waiting my life for the sunshine.